Alright guys, welcome back to second day of e-learning. I hope you guys did okay with your IP skill 38 number 1 through 4. So what we are doing today is we're just going to keep extending our skill 38 lesson by doing a little more complicated problems, although not really. So in terms of new material, what we did last class is all you need for today's lesson. I am just going to do a few more problems with you of the complicated problems, and then you will be off to do your IP, and that will be all for day 2 of e-learning. So we are going to do this problem. If you want to find this on the note, this is skill 38, the last page of the notes. If you're doing on a piece of paper, just write down the problem and then we'll look at it together. Alright, analytically show that the equation below represent trigonometry identity statement. Always start with the complicated side, so probably on the left side of the equation. If you can use trig identity, use it. What are those trig identity? Sine square plus cosine square equal to 1. 1 plus tangent square equal to secant square. 1 plus cotangent square equal to cosecant square. If you cannot use trig identity, rewrite everything in terms of sine and cosine and work from there. So let's go. Secant theta is 1 over cosine theta plus 1 times cosecant theta is 1 over sine theta minus cotangent theta is cosine theta over sine theta. So I'm just rewriting it. Equal to, let's clean up a little bit. Let's do this one first. I'm adding 1 over cosine to 1. Need a common denominator. 1 over 1. Multiply cosine theta. Top and the bottom of the second fraction. Now once you have a common denominator of cosine theta, add your numerators. 1 plus 1 times cosine theta is cosine theta. Now let's look at the second parentheses. Notice both of them have a same denominator already. Yay, less work to do. So keep it sine theta as a denominator. My numerator, 1 minus cosine theta. Cool? Alright, now let's multiply everything. When you multiply, you just multiply across. My denominator is just going to be cosine theta times sine theta. My numerator, guys, you have 1 plus cosine theta times 1 minus cosine theta. FYI, some of you recognize, ooh, that's something we've seen before when you're adding two numbers times and you're subtracting two numbers. Have you guys seen that before? Like a plus b times a minus b? Yeah, you have. You have seen probably in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and maybe last semester. When have you guys seen that before? Yes, that's the factoring difference of two squares. So this is actually a square minus b square. So if you recognize this form, you don't even need to waste your time writing things down. You can just take it as 1 plus cosine theta, 1 minus cosine theta equal to 1 square, which is 1, minus cosine squared theta. How easy is that? If you're like, what did you just say? Past a minute or so, don't worry. Take these two and multiply by distributing the foiling, whatever, however you learn in Algebra 1. Then it's 1 times 1, cosine theta times 1, 1 times negative cosine theta, and cancel out the middle term, then you can get this. Okay, so if that's what you want to do, you probably want to stop, pause the video, and then actually try it. Okay, so we got to this part, and once again, we are kind of stuck. There isn't much you can do to simplify, per se. Then stop it. See where you want to get to. Okay, we want to go to tangent. And you're like, how in the heck are we going to get there? But do you recognize 1 minus cosine square? This is like the third or fourth time we've seen that expression. What is 1 minus cosine squared theta? 1 minus cosine squared theta is sine squared theta. That's one of the trig identity. So sine squared theta over cosine theta times sine theta. And then cancel out common factor, which is going to be sine theta, top and bottom, cancel out. So we're left with sine theta over cosine theta, which is tangent theta. Done. Okay, so that's that one problem. Now let's do this one. Feel free to pause this video, try it, which is going to take a few minutes. I actually want you to do it because it's kind of a fun problem. And resume the video and we will look at this problem together. Alright, so let's do it. I'll probably start with the left side of the equal sign because that's more complicated. None of them has a square. I can't really use trig identity. Let's rewrite everything in terms of sine and cosine. But wait a second, it's already everything in sine and cosine. So what are we going to do? Now, you just look at it. All right, you're doing fraction minus fraction. What do we need? We need the common denominator. What will be the common denominator? Your denominator does not have any of the common factors. So what you need to do is multiply 1 plus sine theta top and the bottom of the first fraction and multiply 1 minus sine theta top and the bottom of the second fraction. So cosine theta over 1 minus sine theta is the original. What are we multiplying to the first one? 1 plus sine theta top and the bottom. Minus the original one was cosine theta, 1 plus sine theta, and to the second fraction we are multiplying 1 minus sine theta top and the bottom. Okay, it's a lot of writing, but we got this. All right, now we can combine all of it into one big fraction. My denominator, 1 minus sine theta times 1 plus sine theta. My numerator, you're distributing that cosine theta in, so cosine theta times 1, cosine theta. Cosine theta times sine theta is cosine theta sine theta. Guys, over here, you need to be super duper be careful. I don't even know that's an expression, but whatever. Why? Do you guys see that it is actually minus here? So when you're distributing that cosine theta inside of the parentheses, you're actually distributing negative cosine theta inside of the parentheses. So negative cosine theta times 1 is negative cosine theta. Negative cosine theta times negative sine theta is going to be plus cosine theta sine theta. So this is where 90% of you will make mistake. A lot of you will say that's a negative. It's going to be positive there. Cool. All right, then what are we going to do? Look at your numerators. Kind of zoom out a little bit, like as a person, and then see what is happening here. Do you guys see that that's the cosine theta is here, negative cosine theta is there, so we can cancel out. We have cosine theta, sine theta, and we have another cosine theta, sine theta. So how many of cosine theta, sine theta do we have? 2. So I got 2 cosine theta, sine theta as the numerator. What will my denominator be? Have you seen something like this before, guys, where it's a 1 plus something, 1 minus something, a minus b times a plus b? Factoring difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to use it again. So it's going to be a square minus b square. 1 square is 1 minus b square sine square theta. Okay, and then you're like, how does that help? Well, have you seen 1 minus sine square before? Yes, where have you seen 1 minus sine square? Over here, 1 minus sine square is going to be cosine square theta. Cosine square theta, my denominator, numerator is 2 cosine theta, sine theta. Look at your numerator, everything is multiplied, so they're all the factors. So I have a cosine theta, cancels out to get 2 sine theta over cosine theta. Sine theta, cosine over cosine theta is the tangent theta. Done. So I guess that wasn't that bad, I think. Alright, so that concludes Skill 38 lesson. What is your IP for today? Today is, what is today? Day 2 of the e-learning. I need you to do number 5, 6, 7 on Skill 38 IP. Sorry, 5, 6, 7. You do not have to do 8 and 9. So I'm just going to check those 3. Once you're done with it, take a picture of it and upload it to Haiku for skill 38, number 5 through 7 section. Do not upload this to somewhere else. This is the day 2 one. Okay? All right, guys, have a great rest of the day, and I will see you on extended e-learning day 3. Bye-bye.